May mga Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros. Happy Thursday.
Uy, happy Thursday to everyone. And syempre, gusto ko lang sabihin, kasi sad day for basketball fans. Kung talagang basketball fanatic ka, you should know your history and yung legends. Si Jerry, pumanaw na po si Jerry West. Although matanda na siya, pero hindi na expect ng tao because active pa rin siya as a consultant for several teams like the LA Clippers, LA Lakers. Siya yung nag-build ng mga dynasties even at that age. So, and yung logo ng NBA, di ba? Alam niyo yung NBA may logo. Siya yung inspiration sa logo.
Siya yun.
That's the way he dribbles kasi when he was younger, nagdi-dribble siya with one hand, nakatilt siya ng ganon. So, kinopya siya ng yung hulma niya ng NBA. Tapos yun ang naging logo ng NBA.
Galing ah.
86, yan. Thank you, Direk. 86 years old si Jerry West pumanaw na. So if you are a true fan of basketball, alam mo yan. Hoy, good morning sa mga natin, viewers, si Gary Fields, si Sam Pokemon Go, si Vlad, si Mother Earth, lahat na nanonood. Thank you for joining us. One more day.
Weekend na. Tapos...
No, hindi. One more day, Friday na.
Okay. Oo nga. At saka Father's Day kasi.
Kailan ba Father's Day?
Sunday. Araw ng mga ama.
Oo, mga ama. We're serving you yung sina-countdown.
Huwag mo nang sundan. All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Starting our countdown with exciting PBA finals. Tabla na! San Miguel redeemed themselves and took Game 4 of the Philippine Cup Finals last night. The Beermen prevented Meralco Bolts from getting another win in the best-of-7 series, 111 to 101. Junmar Fajardo led the Beermen to their second win with 28 points and 13 rebounds. At the same night, he bagged his 10th Best Player of the Conference award. Game 5 of the championship series is on tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. You can also catch this on RPTV and PBA Rush on Signal TV as well as Pilipinas Live app.
Nabuhay yung fans sa mga San Miguel.
Nag-slow down ng San Miguel tapos ang Meralco sumusunod sa pag-dictate ng tempo ng San Miguel. Half-court game. Yun. Alam mo naman natin, pag half-court game, yan ang specialty ni Junmar. Ayan, 28 points, 13 rebounds.
At
so, at least exciting.
MVP...
Best Player of the Conference.
Best Player of the Conference.
So, sa pang 10th award na daw niya yan.
At least, di ba? Meron pa nga abangan na isa pang game.
Mahaba pa yung laban. Tagal pa niyan.
Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. Manibela ended their 3-day transport strike on Wednesday. The group held a protest along Rojas Boulevard on Independence Day. They continue to oppose the mandatory consolidation under the PUV modernization program. The LTFRB earlier said they will no longer allow unconsolidated jeepneys to ply the road.
Sinasabi natin sa kanila, hindi pa kami malaya. Hindi kami malaya. Hindi malaya ang taong bayan sa taas ng mga bilihin, sa hirap ng buhay ngayon, sa hirap na dinaranas ng mga driver at operator na hindi na naman bumiyahe ng ilang araw.
Let's further discuss the government's plan for unconsolidated jeepneys.
We have Andy Ortega on the line, Transportation Undersecretary for Road Transport and Infrastructure. Good morning po sa inyo, sir. Yusek. Ay, wala pa siya. Wala pa pala. Habang inaayos natin yung...
We're trying to fix the line lang.
Linya dyan. Dahil makakausap nga natin si Yusek Andy Ortega regarding this. Dahil may mga iba pang mga balita tungkol nga dito sa usapin na to, no? Itong topic na to sa consolidation ng...
Ayan, we have him na.
Okay.
We have Yusek on the line.
Good morning, Yusek.
Hi, Miss Angela and Angelo. Hi, good morning po. Good morning sa inyong dalawa.
Yes, Yusek, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, simulan na po tayo kasi kailan po magsa-start ang hulihan talaga sa mga unconsolidated jeepneys? Kasi iba-iba po ang sinasabi sa mga social media accounts. So, mas mabuti po sa iyo po manggaling.
Yeah, ganito yun, no? Para we will be clear about. First of all, after the consolidation, ang promise ng government, and we are doing it, is we will give due process, right?
Yes.
Due process yun. Hindi pwede yan gawin mo agad dahil hindi siya nag-consolidate ng April 30. So we are doing the due process. What is due process? Padalhan namin sila ng show cause, sasagot sila, and then eventually magkakaroon ng decision or notice about it. Okay? But the process, pwedeng iba-iba yan sa lugar. Sa ibang probinsya, mabagal ang mail or ang pagsagot. Sa Metro Manila, mabilis. So this is it. Ang LTFRB will be making a final notice sa public about a decision na yung mga hindi na-consolidate ay revoking franchise. Okay? So, this can be done in a notification from LTFRB, ilalabas yung info, then that will make it official, that will start the process na tapos na, or rather, due to non-consolidation, your franchise will be revoked. So, yun ang hinihintay natin. When LTFRB releases it, and then kasabay sa pag-release na yon is an information to MMDA, LTO, at kung ano pang agency regarding that, then they can now start looking for those hindi nag-consolidate para magkaroon ng proseso na wala na tayong non-consolidated sa kalye. So that's what are waiting for. Yung sa LTFRB with proper information.
Yusek, I'd like to clarify lang based on what you said. So may possibility po ba na kung kunyari hindi ka unconsolidated, yung franchise mo hindi rin marirevoke?
Kung hindi ka consolidated, just to be clear, no? So info to, no, na hindi ka na-consolidate, so i-revoke ang franchise. So I'm sorry, just to clarify. So lalabas ng info, due to non-consolidation, your franchise has been revoked. So, pag lumabas na yon, it will be known to all, then that will be the start of the implementation.
Additional lang. No? Yusek, kasi yung sinasabi po ni Marvel Buena ng Manibela, meron daw sinabi daw sa kanya sa hearing na may 1 year po daw na sinasabi na kahit hindi pa nagko-consolidate, they will be supposedly may an informal agreement na papayagan daw sila to ply the routes for 1 more year.
Nung lumabas yun, I think a week ago, that was the statement of that group. Eventually, we clarified to media and pati siya clarify. This is the answer. There is no agreement. There was no agreement during the time that we had this in Congress. What happened was there was a suggestion kung pwede yung hindi nag-consolidate ay bumiyahe muna ng buong taon at ang sagot ng LTFRB is, sige, pag-aaralan namin. And I think yesterday lang or the other day, nag-decide ng LTFRB that we cannot accommodate the request, meaning, pag ikaw ay hindi nag-consolidate, then definitely, hindi ka na pwedeng bumiyahe once the formal notice at wala na yung kanilang idea, suggestion na pwede silang bumiyahe. So yun yun. So,
Klaro na. Thank you.
It will not happen po.
Thank you, Yusek.
Siyempre yung tanong din po dyan, Yusek, ano daw po yung mga parusang ipapataw kung papasada pa rin itong mga unconsolidated jeepneys kapag po sila ay mahuli?
Alam mo, mabigat. Kasi when you talk about hindi consolidated, meaning wala kang prangkisa, you become colorum. At ang colorum, napakabigat ng penalty niya, like 50,000 yung sasakyan pag ikaw ay nahuli, and 1 year na hindi ka pwedeng bumiyahe. Pero ito ang pinaka-latest na info that came out from LTO 2 days ago. Yung mga mahuhuli na wala kang papeles, you become colorum. Pag nahuli yung sasakyan mo, hindi mo na pwedeng makukuha dahil the regional director will automatically file a case in court dahil nahuli ka nang wala kang prangkisa. So when the RD goes to the court or fiscal to file the case, your vehicle becomes a evidence at hindi mo na siya pwedeng makuha hanggang tuloy ang kaso.
So ito po yung sinasabi ng bago po ninyong polisiya na kailangan po may court order ng release ng na-impound na sasakyan.
Tama po kayo, yun yung lumabas, tama ka, because once it becomes an evidence, the only time na pwedeng makuha yung sasakyan is pag may release ang korte. what if tuloy-tuloy ang kaso dahil nag-file ng complaint, dahil wala kang prangkisa? Then, we cannot say how long yung sasakyan. Kaya sa nakikita ko, it is really a message to all na wag po tayong bumiyahe sa kalye kung pribado ang sasakyan mo or wala kang prangkisa dahil pabibigatin po talaga sa batas, sa polisiya.
Yes, Yusek, kasi yan nga po yung sinasabi ng mga groups, transport group, na hindi naman daw po sila kriminal. Bakit daw po kailangan pa ng ganyan na court order pa?
Just to clarify, when you say hindi criminal, that is medyo parang masyadong excise na pananalita po yun. Because, remember, kung ikaw ay pumapasada sa kalye, wala kang karapatan at may nangyari sa sasakyan at nasaktan ang pasahero or worse, may nangyari sa buhay ng pasahero, yun po ay krimen or rather, yun po ay masama or bawal. So, ganun po kabigat ang epekto ng wala kang karapatan sa kalye. That's why it is really responsibilidad ng gobyerno na pahigpitin para hindi po mangyari yun.
Meron na po ba tayong designated na lugar para po dito sa magiging parang impounding place?
Yes, ang LTO po, marami silang lugar within NCR, within Region 3 and 4. In fact, kung pupunta ka ngayon sa LTO sa East Avenue, punong-puno na po yan na mga apprehended na kolorum. That's why we are looking for more spaces po dahil sa bagong polisiya ng LTO na hindi marirelease, we expect hundreds po na mahuhuli at hindi po magpipigil yung ating mga nagkokoloro po. That's why we are ready and we will be ready po for this scenario.
Okay, Yusek, I'd like to ask now on the commuter side naman. Gaano po kasi karami po talaga ang mga jeepney na mawawala, and may study na po tayo kung how many commuters may be affected muna habang wala pa tayong route rationalization program. Kasi may mga specific routes daw na ang dami daw jeep na mawawala, Yusek.
Yeah, definitely may study po ang LTFRB. Sila po yung agency that is tasked with the LGUs to really know exacto ilan ng sasakyan para hindi sobra, hindi kulang. As of now, since the consolidation and even up to today po, makikita natin it is almost normal sa lahat ng mga ruta, meaning na yung takbo ng sasakyan ay enough para dun sa mga commuters.
Okay.
But we are not resting on that info. We are still continuing hanggang maperfecto po natin with the route rationalization na talagang tama ang dami sa bawat ruta. That's why it's a continuing study, but we are ready to give special permit kung kailangan po sa isang ruta na dagdagan dahil kulang.
Yan nga din po yung isang sinasabi nilang issue na hindi pa daw po talagang tapos yung plano dito sa route rationalization, ini-implement na daw kaagad itong PUV modernization. Your thoughts on that po?
Yeah. It was mentioned several times sa Congress, sa public. Ganito po yun. Ang route rationalization or yung pagkaroon ng tamang numero sa tulong ng LGU at saka ng DOT or LTFRB, it is really a continuing process. It cannot be done in 1 or 2 or 3 years. Kaya nga, inuna muna natin ang consolidation para malaman muna natin sino ba ang interesadong sumama sa programa. Almost po yun. So ngayon, alam na natin ilan. Kasi remember po, hindi naman tayo magtatanggal agad ng mga sasakyan just like that, except pag hindi siya nag-consolidate.
Yeah.
So dahil nagkaroon na ng consolidation, syempre tama po kayo, very conscious kami sa dami ng sasakyan. Kitang-kita po, walang problema. Because just to add info, ang consolidation is 81%. Kung titingnan po natin yung studies ng LTFRB, even at 65 or 60%, kakayanin ng consolidated group ang mga ruta, wherein umabot nga tayo ng 81%, and base po sa nakikita natin nationwide, tama po yung numero is enough for the public's demand.
Ang sabi niyo po, Yusek, 81% na po yung nag-consolidate. Yun po ang inyong meron po ba tayong exact number? Hindi po yung porsyento pagbabasihan. Kasi po...
Yes. Sige po.
Go ahead po.
Kasi that's around 155,000 po ang nag-consolidate. Ganun po karami out of mga 190 dapat.
Kasi,
So, ibig sabihin, yes.
yeah,
Ano
po, may
yan?
sinasabi po kasi si Attorney Nery Colmenares na i-challenge niya daw po siya kung mali daw po yung mga numero niya dahil sinasabi po niya, hindi daw po ganyan kataas yung mga nag-consolidate.
I think sa challenge or sa numero that we are giving, I think the proof is yung nakikita natin sa kalye. Wala pong kulang. So, ibig ko sabihin, if merong question, which is normal, kami naman, meron kaming information based on data, which is normal, so there could be debates, which is normal. But let us look at the kalye or the streets, and sa nakikita po natin ngayon, wala namang kulang, wala namang nagkakagulo dahil walang sasakyan. Everything is almost normal except lang kung may ulan, may baha. So ang punto ko po is I do not think that we need to answer the challenge kasi naman po, yung sinabi namin is enough at kita po sa kalye. Po.
Pero Yusek, meron po mga reports doon sa mga ilang areas po na wala daw po masakyan yung mga commuters. Yun ang po nila.
Yes. Yeah, ganito po yun. Nasagot na kasi yung mga areas na walang commuters. I think a month or so ago yun after the consolidation dahil nga nagkaroon ng kaguluhan, may mga nagrarally noon, tapos may mga nagkaroon ng pahinto ng sasakyan dahil nagkaroon ng certain, alam mo na, friction. And then, ito naman 2 days ago, alam niyo po nangyari sa East Avenue, may rally ng konti doon, nagsabay ng baha, nagka-traffic. So what I'm trying to say po, talagang po we will expect certain areas na may problema. But if I talk about that, thousands of routes sa buong Pilipinas, kung porsyento lang po ang pag-uusapan, I think it's not a basis to say na kulang, it's not a basis to say na failure because we are talking of maybe less than 1% na may concern sa buong Pilipinas po. But we will look into that po.
Yes, oo. Kasi nga sinasabi din po nila karamihan po daw kasi ngayon bakasyon na kaya hindi daw po masyado maramdaman yung kakulangan. Pero on that note po, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras and tulad po ng inyong nabanggit, hindi nyo na po kailangan i-challenge. Sabi nyo po si Attorney Nery Colmenares on the numbers. Tama po ba?
Oh, no need po. I think, alam mo, just to end, ang importante dito is, ang debate sa consolidation has ended. Tapos na po yung consolidation. The big majority, it's a success in consolidation. I think what we should be talking about are usapin on how to improve the program. Hindi na po natin kayang pigilan ang programa. We just have to improve it and we are always open for those suggestions.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, DOT or Yusek Andy Ortega.
Alright, very clear. As usual, si Yusek magandang mag-explain yan. But let's move on to the next. Now, here's a bizarre story ranking at the 8th spot. A man in Cebu City was arrested for supposedly punching beautiful women. The suspect admitted to punching 3 women before he was apprehended. And his reason for doing this? Peke raw ang mukha ng mga magagandang babae. He apologized to his victims and asked for forgiveness. The 3 women are still determined to file cases against him.
Oo, di ba nabasa natin yan?
Ano to, adik?
Most probably, kasi wala namang matinong tao na ganyan na magiging rason. Di ba? Napakababaw at actually
O di
waste of
kung
time.
nagagalit siya dahil magaganda sa'yo, di magpaganda na rin siya.
Wala siyang pakialam.
Hindi, magpaganda siya, imbis na manapak, ibuhos na lang niya sa mukha niya.
Ito pa, usapin ng physical appearance, itong isa pa, no? Dahil mula nga sa mga magaganda, punta naman tayo dun sa mga may dagdag timbag. No, nireklamo ng isang pasahero ang isang rider matapos siyang tanggihan na isakay sa kanyang motor dahil sa kanyang timbang.
May depensa naman dito ang ilang mga rider para bigyan ng mukha ang Balita Mobile Journal Evan Tarinque.
Para sa ating mga commuter, napakalaking tulong ng motorcycle taxi, lalo na pag rush hour. Pero sa isang viral video, tinanggihan ng rider ang pasahero niya dahil sa kanyang timbang. Madaling makasingit-singit, kaya mas mabilis makakarating sa pupuntahan. Marami sa commuters. Motorcycle taxi na ang pangunahing mode of transportation. Pero sa isang viral post sa social media, isang pasahero ang hindi pinasakay ng kanyang rider. Dahil di raw kasi kakayanin umano ng kanyang motor ang pasahero.
Sir, ang laki-laki nyo sir eh. Dapat i-cancel nyo. Dapat, ang inaano ko, i-cancel nyo kasi hindi naman kaya ng motor ko yung ano.
Kaya nga i-cancel mo, ikaw naman po nagpapakancel, hindi naman ako.
Sa aking pagtatanong-tanong sa mga rider, wala naman daw weight limit sa mga pasahero. Kaya nga lang, ibang usapan na raw kung kakayanin pa ng motor nila.
Pwede naman tanggihan din pag once na hindi talaga kaya kasi delikado din naman.
Wala naman pwedeng rason na ika-cancel mo yung ano kasi yun nga ang hanap mo di ba? Yung pasahero eh.
Noong 2020 nga, nag-update ang isang MC Taxi app kung saan hinihingi ang impormasyon sa timbang ng pasahero. Ito raw ay para maiwasan matapat ang may mga kabigatang customer sa maliliit na motor. Payo ng ilang rider, inote na lang din ng pasahero ang kanilang timbang at prefer na motor. Sa ganitong paraan, mas madali daw malalaman ng rider kung kakayanin isakay ang pasahero.
May nasakay naman ako minsan na lagpas na mahigit 60 kilos nasasakay ko. Kinukuha ko pa rin kahit mahirap.
Ang kaso nga lang, baka mas mahirapan ka raw makakuha ng rider.
Yun nga lang po, mahirap siya kasi di naman kasi lahat ng rider malaking motor ng dala.
Lahat ng uri ng transportasyon may limitasyon. Pero sana hindi ito maging dahilan ng diskriminasyon sa ating kapwa. Mobile Journal Ivan Taringki po hatid ang muka ng balita.
Dito maintindihan ko kasi mga scooter yan eh. Maliliit ang scooter.
Ayusin lang yung pagsabi.
Oh, hindi. Kaya nga sa
app.
Ako na-experience ko to, nakita ko sa app na i-input mo yung timbang mo. Tapos, with that, para hindi ka ma-discriminate, hahanapan ka ng rider, i-prepare ka sa rider na medyo malaki ang bike. Kasi may mga rider na mas malaki ang scooter nila sa mga iba. Iba yung maliliit.
Kasi di ba hindi tama yung isang balita.
Ano,
Kapon ba yun?
Oo.
Yung sa jeep, di
The
ba
way it was handled.
pinaalis siya kasi ano daw, bago yung jeep niya.
The way it was
pwede
handled, mali.
daw.
Oo, mali naman yung the way it was handled. Mali yun.
Naku, apaka-toxic no, ng mga ganyan na dahil sa timbang o kaya sa itsura mo, ikaw yan, na-judge. But coming up, more Chinese military uniforms were discovered in a pogo site in Porac, Pampanga.
And the Philippine Navy intensifies their patrols amid China's supposed illegal maritime drills in the West Philippine Sea.
We are just getting started. More of our top 10 news when brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Uy, good morning sa lahat ng viewers. Gary Field, Alex Fuentes. Maraming salamat ulit, Alex, sa mga gandang sticker.
Oo.
Si Gary, may mga komentaryan mamaya.
Si Migs Ebron, di ba?
Yan, Juan Miguel Ebron. Good morning daw. Please like daw his profile picture. Sabi niya. Uy, ano pala, mukhang malulungkot ang mga
Bakit?
Dallas fans. Kasi,
May update sila sa'yo?
2-0 ngayon, pero ongoing ang game. 91-73 lamang ng 18. Kung manalo ngayon ng Boston 3-0, one game away from a sweep and first championship ng Boston with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown duo. Finally. So iyakan ng mga Luka and Kyrie fans.
Nakaantabay din dyan si Ralph Domingo na laging nanonood din sa atin.
Ralph.
Alright, let's continue with our countdown. Going straight now to our 7th spot, President Marcos graced this year's Parada ng Kalayaan at the Quirino Grandstand. Para bigyan ng mukha ang balita, Mobile Journal Julie Baiza.
President Bongbong Marcos challenged Filipinos to continue to fight for freedom and sovereignty amid the issues in the West Philippine Sea. In his speech at the Independence Day Parade in Quirino Grandstand yesterday, Marcos said that Filipinos should not shy away from defending our territory.
Ang ating mga ninuno ay hindi umurong sa digmaan. Kaya tayo ay hindi rin tatalikod sa tungkuling ipagtanggol ang ating nasasakupan.
He also emphasized that in defending the nation's territory, real power cannot be measured by strength or wealth.
Ipakita natin sa buong daigdig na ang tunay na kapangyarihan ay hindi nasusukat sa lakas o sa yaman, kung hindi sa tunay na kahulugan at katwiran ng ating ipinaglalaban. Sa alab ng pag-ibig sa bayan at sa di matatawarang pagkakaisa ng ating mga mamamayan.
The chief executive also rallied for support to help emancipate the country from poverty, hunger, and injustice. He also wants to impart on the people, especially the youth, the suffering of our ancestors and heroes to achieve freedom and peace.
Nakakalungkot isipin na marami sa mga kabataan ngayon ang hindi kilala ang Gumbursa. Nakalimot na sila sa lahat ng pinagdaanan ng ating bansa upang magkaroon ng kasarinlan. Ang kalayaan ay inaalagaan, binabantayan at ipinaglalaban. Sa sandaling mapabayaan natin ito, maaring itong mawala at maagaw muli sa atin.
Following the President's remarks, an Independence Day parade was held showcasing significant elements of the country's history. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
126th Independence Day yesterday. Oo. Diyan din nagkaroon ng di ba, libreng pa-concert yung BINI and other performers. Kaso, they had to stop the performance kasi medyo nagkakagulo yung mga fans.
Dahil sa group.
Oo, ang daming fans ng BINI eh.
Walang crowd control.
Oo, so it's a good decision, good call na gawin nila yan kasi kaysa magka-stampede o magkaroon ng aksidente, di ba? Di ba nangyari yun dati?
Yeah, I was watching with my friend Bon Jovi concert. Long time. I think 90s or 2000s. Tapos, in the middle of his set, yung mga Pinoy nag-akyatan sa tower, yung light tower. Tapos yung light tower nagtitilt na ng paganon. So si Bon Jovi warned the crowd. Hindi nakinig yung crowd, hindi na discipline.
So they had to stop the performance.
Nag-walkout na si Bon Jovi, hindi na tinuloy yung concert. So yun. Kasi better kasi yung safe kaysa magalit. Okay, hayaan mo magalit yung crowd, pero kung hindi ka safe, di ba? Kaya may mangyayari pang masama. Ha?
So,
okay. Ano yung tinuturo mo?
Hindi, doon ka na sa susunod.
Pag ako nagsasalita, minamadali mo. Pag ikaw, okay lang, hinahayaan kita.
Siyempre, ganun talaga.
Kahit hanggang pumutok
kasi
sa ulo mo.
magkadugtong natin, magkadugtong itong anong number nung binasa ko, 7 to 6.
O di alamin natin kung ano.
Ayan.
Still sizzling. What is sizzling? Move on. Gusto mo, sa'yo na yan.
Go na!
Dami mo reklamo eh.
Go.
At the sizzling at the sixth spot is the Vice President Sara Duterte. Unity no more. The Vice President said this tandem with President Bongbong Marcos was just for the elections. She said this amid the ongoing rift between the President and her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte. Despite this remark, VP Sara thanked those who supported and voted for their tandem in the 2022 elections.
Ang Unity was the tandem during the 2022 elections, and then tandem of Bongbong Sara during the 2022 elections. And then umanang elections, nilaog na Unity.
VP Sara, who is also the concurrent Education Secretary, expressed support for the proposed banning of electronic gadgets in schools. However, she insisted on some exceptions for this proposal.
We are okay for the banning of use of gadgets for personal use, subject to exceptions. Kung ang iyahang personal gadget ginagamit niya sa pag-eskwela or sa lesson sa maestra, then dapat doon ay mga exceptions.
Kasi nakita natin sa pag-celebrate nga ng Independence Day kahapon, araw ng kasarinlan, magkahiwalay itong dalawang pinuno natin. Yung presidente nasa Quirino Grandstand, itong Vice President nasa Davao.
Pero yung statement na yun, sa ano lang to yung tandem namin sa election. Parang it shouldn't sit well with most of the voters.
Ng mga newspaper ngayon.
Because parang, insincere pala yung
para lang makuha nyo yung boto?
Para makuha yung boto, nag-unity team kayo. Pero ngayon tapos na. Hindi na. Sa election lang yan so, kala ko ba yung loyalty to the party ends when the loyalty to the country should begin. Dapat mas loyal ka sa bansa natin. You told the voters na ito ang gusto namin way of governing. United kami, yung front namin, two parties. Biglang ngayon na nag-start na yung mga kanilang term, wala, sa campaign lang yan.
We all know naman bakit nagkakaganyan sila, di ba? Dahil dun sa mga, yung pagiging, strained relationship. Yeah. Dahil nga dun sa kabilang mga issue. Duterte versus the Marcoses.
Kaya nga ang advice natin sa upcoming midterm elections sana our voters don't get swayed by all these campaign slogans and all these marketing ploys. Diba? Take a look talaga at the track record.
Ito pang maidagdag ko lang si VP Sara kahapon. No comment din siya nung tinatanong siya regarding dun sa kanyang ano bang posisyon niya doon sa memorandum circular number 52 ng Marcos administration, yung mandatory na pagsama sa mga flag ceremony ng Bagong Pilipinas Hymn at saka Bagong Pilipinas Pledge. Sabi niya no comment.
Yeah, because siguro pag no comment, she doesn't sit well with her. Kasi we understand naman because yung slogan na yan is a branding slogan for this administration's way on dealing with with certain issues.
At no comment din siya hanggang ngayon doon sa nangyayari sa West Philippine Sea. Pero may comment siya doon sa doon sa top 5 natin. Ano ba itong sinasabi natin? On our top 5 is Apollo Kibuloy. The camp of the controversial pastor will file a complaint following an attempt to arrest him. Attorney Israelito Torillon insists that the entry of authorities in Kibuloy's properties was unlawful. The PNP attempted to serve arrest warrants simultaneously against Kibuloy on Monday. When asked whether the pastor is still in the country, Torillon said he is uncertain.
Kayo pa mang kakaso?
O kasi nga,
what do you expect?
Just to balance the conversation and the context, dahil nga daw pumunta doon, nag-arrest, nag-serve ng arrest warrant ang PNP at saka ang SAF, at pumunta doon mismo sa place of worship nila at 4 o'clock in the morning. Tapos naghalugog daw doon at kinapkapan sila. Ang kanilang depensa legally is dapat daw meron din search warrant.
But yung ang stance kasi ng iba, I understand that sinabi ni Attorney Harry Roque yan.
Yeah.
Ang stance naman ng iba is, paano yun? If you serve a warrant, ano ang gagawin mo? Dapat public place at nakikita mo kung nasan siya. So if you serve a warrant, nasa loob siya ng bahay, hintayin mo na lang lumabas. Diba? You're not allowed to kasi if you don't voluntarily surrender, anong gagawin ng police, yung mga police officers natin? Diba? Tapos nagtatago pa tong si Apollo Kibuloy.
Wala, diba? Kahit daw yung kanyang legal counsel, walang alam kung nasaan siya.
So ang question dito is, I'd like to pose kay attorney ni Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, what if yung mga regular simple members ng KOJC ang magkaroon ng kaso at nag-serve ng arrest warrant ang police? Wala naman means na magtago. Ano yung gagawin? Diba? So, dapat trato sa isa, trato sa lahat. Di ba? Ano sabi nga nila, the law may be harsh, but
it is the law.
It is the law.
Follow
the law.
Exactly. But yung sinasabi ko nga kanina na tungkol kay VP Sara Duterte, ba't ko na-connect ito? Dahil nga wala nga siyang komento tungkol sa West Philippine Sea, pero may komento siya. At saka yung kanyang ama, ang ating former President Rodrigo Duterte, tungkol nga dito sa arrest warrant na nangyari dyan sa property ni mga properties ni Apollo Kibuloy, which in fact ang caretaker niyan si PRRD. Oo.
Anyway, sige, next na. Entering on our fourth spot is the Pogo in Cavite. Cavite officials are open to the inspection of Pogo operations in their province. Cavite Governor John Vic Remulla insisted there are no illegal Pogo operations in their province. This after the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, received reports of illegal Pogo operations in Cavite. Remulla said there is only one Pogo in their province, the one located on Island Cove in Kawit, Cavite. The governor denied any links to the Pogo despite his family previously owning Island Cove. He added that the local government is not earning from Pogos.
Ang taxes paid nila diretso rin sa PAGCOR. Wala silang permits galing sa provincial government, wala silang clearances galing sa provincial government, wala silang letter of no objection galing sa provincial government. Essentially, wala kaming kinalaman talaga sa kanila.
Ituloy ko lang ito dito sa ating next topic for today kasi magkadugtong yan.
Okay.
Coming in at top 3, Defense Chief Gibo Teodoro says illegal pogos have become a national security concern. This as more Chinese military uniforms were discovered inside a raided compound in Pampanga. Reniel Pawid has the report.
A new set of Chinese military uniforms were found by authorities on the 6th day of their search operations in the South 99 Pogo Hub in Porac, Pampanga. There were also combat boots found, as well as military badge.
Alam kung ito ba talaga katotohanan na ginagamit o binili lang kung saan o ginagamit lang sa cosplay o whatever. But we are not ruling na ginagamit na ito kagad dito.
On Monday and Tuesday, at least 6 sets of alleged Chinese military uniforms were discovered by authorities in the raided hub. The News 5 team showed photos of the uniforms to military expert Jose Custodio. And he said that these appear legitimate, but warned against jumping to conclusions.
They may be authentic Chinese uniforms, but doesn't necessarily prove anything. Kasi it could be said that, baka isa sa mga to military enthusiast, baka isa sa mga ito nagka-cosplay, o baka isa sa mga to nag-airsoft.
The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, suspects that this may have been used by what they call the torture enforcers. Recall that there were also torture equipment discovered in the Pogo Hub, where about 160 foreign nationals were rescued.
Kasi yan ang isa sa mga katangian. Pero ng mga enforcer, kailangan na may ex-military ka o kaya dati kang nasa serbisyo. Yun ang kinukuha nila mga taga-torture minsan o kaya yung taga-kidnap o kaya yung taga-gawa ng mga krimen para sa kanila.
The News 5 team also reports in an exclusive that PAOC found 25 bullets in Building 3 of the Lucky South 99 Pogo. The PAOC is now looking into whether there were killings inside the compound. This as they also found photos of dead bodies in the cell phone of the alleged Chinese Pogo torturer Wu Lifeng. PAOC confirms that they are now monitoring other Pogos in southern Metro Manila as well as Cavite. Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro now says the prevalence of illegal Pogos is a national security concern. He says we should stop the syndicated criminal activities operating out of our base, which weakens our financial standing and corrupts our society. But Teodoro emphasized that there are Pogos operating legally as well. In Congress, there is growing momentum for a bill to ban all Pogos outright, even the legal ones.
Uy, gusto ko pala mag-sorry sa isang Pokemon Go.
Bakit?
Saka sa mga Dallas fans.
Bakit?
Sabi ko kanina, mukhang magti-3-0.
Kala ko about Pogo.
Hindi. Dallas fans, mukhang magti-3-0 pero humabol na po ang Dallas. 3 points na lang ang lamang.
Oo. Tayo talaga yung nag-update sa kanila. Pero going back dun sa ating issue kanina, itong Pogo, yun nga, kanina din doon sa Cavite, dahil a lot of people actually are saying na i-check nyo yun. Napakalaki daw ng Pogo Hub doon sa Cavite. Diba, i-check nyo legal ba yun? May permit ba yun? Meron ba mga underground transactions din dyan? Yun ang mga gusto nang malaman ng mga tao, diba, doon sa area na yun. At sinasabi nga ni Governor Remulla, he cannot comment doon sa regarding doon sa PAGCOR kasi yung kapatid niya nasa PAGCOR, diba? Pero sinasabi lang niya ay wala daw silang kinalaman dito. Binenta na daw yung pagmamay-ari nila, yung Island Cove na yun. At hindi daw sila protector nga nitong Pogo. And yun, napakarami, no? Kahapon, pinag-uusapan natin ang laki ng ginagastos ng government, no? Government na nagsushoulder doon sa mga gastos pag ang PAOC ay nag-grade ng isang hub. No? Like for example, itong Porac na ni-raid nila sa Porac na Pogo, ay yung mga biktima, bakit ka natawa? Di sinasabi ko lang yung mga biktima doon, yung mga ipapadeport, ipapakainin, and even yung itong mga Pogo workers daw kasi minsan nagkakaroon ng mga asawa or mga partners, tapos nagkakaroon sila ng anak. So kung ipapadeport yun, yung Pogo worker, naghahabol yung mga anak at saka yung asawa. So gastos din ng gobyerno yung, halimbawa pag na-hospital sila, tapos ito yung anak, yung asawa, naghahabol dun sa mga Pogo workers. So, kaya ang laki talagang issue nito, iban o hindi? Dahil parang yung target na Pogo tax from Pogo na gusto kolektahin noong 2021 ay hindi tutugma dun sa kinokolekta ngayon na sinasabi nilang 5 to 8 billion annually. Ang target nila 20 plus billion eh.
Layo pa rin.
Malayo pa rin. So, itutuloy mo ba to? Tapos ang daming mga illegal activities Bakit ka natawa?
No, kasi nawalan ka ng hinga kanina tayo.
Pero hindi, di ba? This is a very serious topic, itong Pogo na to. Dahil ang daming...
ako, ban Pogo.
Di ba? Yung mga illegal activities like prostitution and a lot more. Human trafficking. Di ba? Kamusta naman yung mga biktima nito? Di ba? Kamusta naman sila?
Alright, don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Good morning sa lahat ng viewers natin. Thank you very much for continuing to join us mula Monday hanggang ngayon. Dapat hanggang bukas pa yan. Kasi Thursday pa lang ngayon.
Tsaka, ano bang hula nyo? Diba? Down na tayo sa dalawang importanteng balita for today. Ano ba yung top 2 natin? Ano ba yung number 1?
Tapos na yung kay Kibuloy eh.
Let's see. Sad ka?
Hindi naman.
Si Diego kasi gusto niya lagi kasama sa top. Sige po.
Kasi hindi.
Importante naman kasi malaman natin, di ba?
Just na-interest lang ako sa issue na yan dahil yung balance of the justice system medyo yung mga people na walang access sa mga pondo masyado
kung iba yan nahuli na or kung
So,
iba yan nandun na kaagad sa Senate hearing pa
tapos,
lang.
ang atin na police officers na nagkatrabaho, yung winatter canon mo.
Oo nga.
Tapos kayo pa magpa-file ng case.
Sige, tuloy mo yan.
Go! We are now down to our top 2. The construction of the new Senate building in Taguig City will continue. Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, who chairs the Committee on Accounts, says it may continue as they review the documentation. On Monday, Senate President Cheese Escudero ordered a halt to the project due to its ballooning costs. The funding needed increased to over 23 billion pesos from just the 8.9 billion peso initial budget.
Ayun. Kasi sinasabi ni Cayetano dito, yung DPWH has procured items not yet for implementation.
Yes.
So, yun sabi niya, continue pa rin naman yung ibang mga floors, pero yun, habang nire-review natin yung budget nga dito.
Tsaka may nakita daw certain aspects sa construction na nakita lang. Kasi di ba usually, in a construction, a big project, meron nakalagay doon as needed na eh. Kasi may mga things na hindi mo nakikita along the way. Kaya nga may provisional budget ka eh. So for example, ang isang nakita nila was yung pipes in some parts of the floor or yung structure, kailangan ng waterproofing.
Yes.
So that's additional cost again. It depends, no? Iba, hindi ko sinasabi gano'n ang kontrata nila kasi siyempre hindi mo natin makikita. But several construction projects, may gano'n lagi. As the cost or need arises, tsaka mag-additional, subject for approval usually yan.
The constructor failed to follow technical specifications. Yun ang sinabi nila.
Ngayon ang malaman kung bakit, pero siguro may nakita siya as he was along the project, along the way, may nakita siyang kailangan na provisional na mag-adjust. Ewan ko, ano yung reasoning niya. But I'm sure they will look further into that. Pero magandang move yan na ituloy kasi the more you delay that,
mas malaki din yung gagastusin mo eh, di ba?
Yes.
Actually, di ba yung mobile journal natin, si Ivan Tarinque, the other day went there to check.
Yesterday ba?
The other day. To check nga kung, kasi yung unang balita na lumabas ay pinahihinto yung construction. Yung pala, yung ibang wing lang, yung hihinto, yung iba tuloy-tuloy lang. Pero yun nga, when our mobile journal, Ivan Tarinque, went there, tuloy-tuloy nga, di ba? Tinanong, wala naman nag-order eh, wala naman nagkaroon ng pag-uutos dito sa mga construction workers na to na itigil yung kanilang pagtatrabaho. That's why, yun pala yung rason ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
Yes.
Di ba? Pero yun nga, tingnan natin kasi ang sinasabi nga ni Senator Cheese Escudero, nililinaw niya, wala daw siyang nakikitang anomalya. Di ba? Maigi lang, ma-review
kung bakit
nag-balloon sa from 8-point-something billion naging 23.
Hindi porket pinatigil may anomaly yung sinasabi niya. Basta chinecheck lang, ano yung mga baka hindi naman kailangan ito, pwede mag-cut ng cost.
Pero syempre, sinasabi nila, nagmamadali ang mga senador. Ito yung mga ano lang, sabi-sabi ng iba, nagmamadali yung mga senador makalipat dyan sa fort dahil mas malapit sila dyan Dyan sila mga nakatira. Pero hindi. Other than that, ang sinabi naman ni Senator Tito Sotto nung na-interview namin siya, mas kikita ang gobyerno dito dahil other floors can be rented to others.
Yeah.
Unlike daw dun sa kanilang ginagastos dito sa GSIS building, which is 127 million yearly.
Rental lang ata yun.
Rental.
Oo.
Okay, let's move forward to our top story for today. Our top story for today is China Navy's presence within our exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. The Philippine Navy have intensified their patrols in the West Philippine Sea days after the illegal maritime drill of China Navy in our EEZ. Here's the report.
Some officials and staff of the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, held a flag raising ceremony in BRP Teresa Magbanwa yesterday. This is in line of our Independence Day celebration. During the ceremony, the PCG spotted 8 Chinese vessels in Escoda Shoal. The armed forces of the Philippines noted the increase of Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea. This is why they further increased their patrols in our EEZ.
Nagkaroon ng internal adjustment ang Philippine Navy to allow us to project more ships sa ating EEZ. This will allow us more patrols and longer durations. Pati ang Coast Guard, and in fact, pati ang BPAN. Ang kailangan sa West Philippine Sea is more government presence by the maritime players, maritime agencies.
The Philippine Navy also confirmed that China Navy conducted a military drill in our EEZ. The Army said this is the first time they did this in our history. In an interview with Storycon, the Philippine Navy said the drills were conducted near Sabina Shoal from June 2 to 4. It included the launching of ships and helicopters and the maneuvers of vessels. No firing of weapons was observed during their drill. Still, the Philippine Navy reminded that China conducting drills in our EEZ is illegal.
I don't consider it pangamon. I would like to look at it in the bigger context. Na una sa lahat, illegal ang kanilang presensya. Whatever they do will not legitimize their presence.
The Philippine Navy said that China gave them a heads up about the drill. However, they did not recognize this because of its location in our EEZ.
Every time merong ganon, we challenge them. We give out maritime canned messages to challenge them and to tell them that you are in the exclusive economic zone of the Philippines or in our territorial sea.
Yun. Ito ay parang first time na ginawa ng Chinese Navy dyan. Iba kasi yung Coast Guard sa Navy. So, it tells you a different message when they did that. And masasabi mo na lang na ito ba ay, kumbaga parang prelude doon sa, kasi June 15, diba? Ang implementation supposedly nung kanilang bagong polisiya, sarili nila, na manghuhuli daw sila ng mga foreign trespassers sa kanilang
kung makikita mo yung
territory.
Yung progression of both nations in Philippines and China, nakita mo si PBBM nag-i-intensify yung rhetoric niya, nag-i-intensify yung stance niya and the way he talks in public gatherings o mga official events. Ang China naman nag-i-intensify naman by action. Diba? For example, yung ngayon, they're going to start to arrest people who are fishing
by
June 15. Tapos now they're conducting drills in our exclusive economic zone. So both nations are intensifying. That's why sabi nila, we have to find an additional or a backup solution that has to work because mukhang hindi gumagana. Mas napipikon pa ang China. So we should find a way.
I was wondering nga kung nag-usap sila yung Chinese ambassador natin dito. Kasi umattend siya kahapon nung Independence Day event Diba? Kung napag-usapan ba nila to. Well, at least, I mean, yung him showing up there is also a message na pwede pang mag-usap. Diba? Kasi hindi nang isnab or whatsoever. Pero yun nga, kasi at the end of the day, kawawa talaga yung... At saka, diba, dapat nga ngayon sinisimulan na natin yung repairs ng BRP Sierra Madre. Nakita naman natin, napakakalawangin na nung BRP Sierra Madre. And any time of the day, I think talagang bibigay na yun. And we'll lose our post there.
Yung dialogue between China, yung pag-uusap to finally settle this, I think we're way past that already. Number one, if you want to talk to settle things, you should have leverage, and we don't have leverage whatsoever. So we can never talk to China on an even playing field.
Nakailang na tayo, diplomatic protest, di ba?
Unless discussions are held together with our big brothers, supposedly the United States, maybe Australia, ibang nations. But if you don't have leverage, it is impossible to negotiate equally on a level playing field. Kasi
on the other side of the fence, ang sinasabi ng China dyan, because their narrative would always be dapat ang stakeholders ang mag-uusap, which is bilateral. Ayaw nila na may ibang entity. So, hindi talaga. You cannot find common middle ground.
It will never be a fair discussion because wala tayong economic leverage, wala tayong military leverage.
They don't recognize yung Hague ruling.
Oo.
Diba?
Diba? Anyway, kakainit ang ulo yung mga But alam mo, anyway.
Nawawala ka ba?
But I'd like to, yung sila Gary Field, saka sila Migs Ebron. Thank you for sticking it out with us among all our other viewers sa mga comments nyo. And
Erwin Ocanya nanonood sa atin. Hi, Erwin.
Ayan. At yun, sayang, nalungkot din ako dahil na...
Ano ba nangyari sa NBA?
Di pa
sa mga nag-aabang po ng resulta, meron pong update blue by blue to si Jego.
Down by 15 sila yung Dallas, nag-rally sila humabol. Tapos nag-foul out si Luka. So, wala mukhang 3-0. Looks like it with 14 seconds to go, 3-0. So, luhaan yung mga Mavericks fans.
0
Luka and Kyrie. 3-0 na. Bala. Anyway, I'd like to, may sasabihin ka pa ba?
Wala na.
I'd like to leave everyone with a quote sa mga lahat ng puro reklamo, puro inggit, puro, di ba? I'd like to leave you with this quote. Hindi mo negativity. God gave you a gift of 86,400 seconds today. Have you used one to say thank you? William Arthur Ward, di ba? Nag-thank you na ba? Puro ka reklamo, puro kayo galit, puro kayo komentaryong masama, pero may 1 segundo ka ba nagpasalamat sa Diyos? O kahit sa ibang tao? Di ba? Sa Diyos, oo. Sabi ko sa ibang tao, tumawa ka.
Oo. Sa ibang tao, thank you. Kanina umaga na magbukas ng gate sa akin nung guard. Thank you, good morning. Ikaw?
Ako, I don't say thank you.
You don't? Wala naman ko sabi, di ka nagsasabi ng thank you.
You're welcome.
Iba.
You're welcome.
Alright,
ayan, ay, umiiyak si Luka anyway. So, sa'yo na yan.
Okay, and that wraps up today's episode of Brunch. Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
Tuloy-tuloy.
And he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News. Ikaw, nagtirahan kita.
All sides, all the time.
Good boy. Thank you.